All right.
Hello, everyone.
And I
Welcome
just said,
back
oh,
to
be good.
Co-Living Life. I'm Dr. T, and I'm joined today by my partner in this movement, Diamond Crystal. We have a very special guest who is going to talk about her co-living experience. So let's get into it, Diamond.
All right. I am so excited to be joined today by our special guest. And for those of you who may not know, I am Diamond Crystal, also known as the Gallivanting Grandma. And I am part of this co-living life that we're going to talk about today. And we are excited to bring to you Sister Savvy out of Chapala, Mexico. Hey, Savvy.
Hey, what's shaking, ladies?
It's
You.
all good. It's all good.
Good, good. I want to thank you guys for inviting me on your channel. I just feel so privileged to be among such great women. So, for who don't know me, my name is Donna Jones, but I go by Savvy. And I currently live between Mexico and the US. Most of the time, I am in the US in Chapala. And I live in a co living situation with three other women that I'm excited to share with you guys.
Yes, it's all about that co-living life. Let's get into it, Dr. T.
So, Savvy, what inspired you to choose Chapala as the place to live at this stage in your life?
Well, I've always been interested and loved visiting Mexico. And after I transitioned out of my traditional job as a nurse educator back in 2018, I just started surfing through, the internet and watching YouTube channels and I ran across this woman by the name of Beverly and she had a YouTube channel called Miles and Coffee, and she was talking about this TEFL program. And I said, "Ooh, I'm an educator. That sounds like something I could do to earn a little money on the side." Because I've always believed as we grow older, when we're approaching retirement, we should have some type of a slide hustle to
Mm.
kind of compensate some money so we can do the things that we wanted to do. And mine was travel. And so I reached out to Beverly, and she offered me an opportunity to speak with her. So I invested in her time and talked to her about this TEFL program that was available in Guadalajara, because I didn't want
Mhm.
to go to New York. I'd been there, and I didn't want to go to Chicago. I had been there, but I've always wanted to go to Mexico. And so I did. I went and I was in that program. And again, still watching the television, and the algorithm threw up Stephanie Perry and this thing called Exodus Summit. And so I signed up for that. And while I was in there was people. I was in Guadalajara, and they had put a group up of women who wanted to move to that area. And I said, well, I'm already here, and I would like to know more. So I signed up for that group. I said, let me go within that group room, that breakout room. And in that breakout room is where I met Sonia Foloyan. And I was listening to her and hearing how she was already in Chapala. I said, oh, a sister in Chapala. And so I said, I DM'd her. And I said, Sonia, if you take the lead in leading this group, I'll be your co-pilot. And so
Hmm.
that's where it started. And so she invited me to come down, and she said that she lived in this refurbished boutique hotel. It sounded all cool and everything. And she said there's a famous hotel next to us. You could probably rent a room there and move in there. But then when I got down there to meet Sonia, one of the owners of the boutique hotel that she was living in said, we have an extra room. Why don't you just spend the night here? And so I did. And that was the best sleep I had ever had, all while I had been in Mexico. I said, oh, girlfriend, home. And so then they said, well, are you interested? What are your plans? I said, well, I would love to live in Mexico, and I just need to find a place. And they said, well, why not? Why don't you just stay here? And so we'll need to interview you and kind of see that you fit with the group. And so they vetted me. We were all some type of an artist. Me, a writer, Sonia, a textile artist. Um, the other lady was a sculptor, and another lady was into needlework and stuff. But it just fell into place. Now, when I came to Guadalajara, I told God when I got on the plane, I said, look, I'm flying business class. And I said, I'm buying a one-way ticket. I said, so whatever doors you open, I'm just gonna
Yes.
walk through.
Walk
And
through.
that was
Yes.
it. That's how I
Hmm.
got there.
Awesome.
Wow, wow. That is so inspiring. And it speaks to the value of social currency, right?
Yeah.
Because you said
Yes.
that, you were on YouTube. And I'm a full-time global house sitting professional. So we all probably got started by the GOAT, Stephanie Perry, back at that
Yes.
time. It was COVID and you just, looking for something, right?
Yes.
And then finding Beverly. Was she in La Paz at that point? Was she in that part of
I think she
Mexico?
was transitioning. I can't remember if I don't think she was in La Paz at that time. I think she was in Oaxaca
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But
And
she,
so,
oh my gosh.
just the social currency and building this global network, right, that
Yes.
starts right online. So
Yes.
it's wild. And you're naming
Yes.
names that are near and dear to my heart because Sonia is my sister
I
girl.
know her. I know
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely. I spent first 5.5 months of my international house sitting journey right there in Chapala, and
Oh
Sonia just
wow.
embraced
Wow.
me in that
her.
community, and that's how
Power.
I got to know your co-living situation at that time.
Okay. Okay.
Absolutely. So how has co-living with these other women, how has it changed your perspective on independence and aging?
Well, co-living has given me hope. And
All
hope
right.
is well, I call myself the hope coach.
Yeah.
Having optimistic prevailing expectation. And my optimism is grounded in the fact that I'm going to be living a life full of vitality, full of
Mm.
productivity, and full of prosperity, even in old age. So the old saying that you don't know a person until you live with them is really,
Yes.
really a true statement.
Mm.
Yes.
And in a co-living situation, you get to really get to learn your neighbors, or I call them fristers and family. You get to know their desires and
Yeah.
their dreams and their dislikes and their likes and common goals that you may have. So then that opens up the door for networking and collaborations instead of competition. And that built-in
Always.
support system is priceless.
It's a win-win situation.
All
Win-win
the way around.
situation.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes. I
that's
agree.
awesome. Love it. Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Now, so you're living with women, different
Hmm.
backgrounds, different interests.
Yes.
You're in
Yes.
another country. What's been the biggest challenge of living in Mexico, and how have you overcome them? We hear about weather, we hear about
Ye- Yeah. Yeah. I
The
utilities,
think
water.
language.
Yes.
the biggest challenge I had was language.
Yeah.
Okay.
And because I never took Spanish in high school. Always wanted to. My mother took French, she told me, when she was in high school. So I thought about French, I thought about Spanish, but because I'm almost an A personality, almost, I'm in recovery. Um
Oh,
I
I say it all the time.
I focus more on making sure that all of my prerequisites were in place for my nursing, so which is
Mhm.
the track that I took. But overcoming the language barrier, first of all, um, I started using Duolingo. I started
Mhm.
Oh.
self-educating. So I
Mhm.
started using Duolingo, and then since moving to Mexico, the being in the community, that immersion is the best teacher for the language. And then on top of that, I have connected with a woman by the name of Kim Ann, and she has a program called Bloom in Spanish. So those are the things that I have been doing to overcome the Spanish issue. And so when I'm out and about, I make sure that I use the language. Even here in when I'm traveling to the U.S., I spend a lot of time in the Mexican areas, and so when I go in, they want to talk English, and I quickly put it back in Spanish, and their eyes get big as
Oh, I'm sure
sausages.
they
Would
appreciate that.
this black woman know how to speak my language? And the biggest smile comes across their face.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
love that when I'm in
Mhm.
Mexico, and if I say something wrong or backwards, they smile and they gently correct me. I remember one specific situation. I was in the cab, and it was a warm day, and so I said, "Oh, soy caliente," and which meant I'm hot, but it meant
I'm hot.
I'm hot. And he said, "No, no, it's hot. No, no." And so he corrected me on how to say it. So they're real helpful in that respect.
Yeah, yeah, I have found that in all of my travels to be very true. You know, they simply appreciate the attempt,
The
right?
attempt.
Right. You are not coming in and kind of demanding that they speak English or understand you. They simply
Exactly.
appreciate that, you know, you respect the language of the
Exactly.
country, and they are so gracious in correcting you.
Absolutely.
They correct you
Yeah.
in love.
Right.
Yes, they do.
Is
Yes,
what
they
I
do.
say.
Yes, they
Right.
do. So,
Yeah, yeah.
so my other challenges, I call them the big 5 Fs. And
Mm.
I did a video about it on my YouTube channel. But friends, family, finances, fallacies, and there was one fears. And so
Hmm.
once you overcome those, you're good to go. You know, everybody's not is not going to agree with what it is that you want to do as far as friends and family, because they've got all of these misconceived ideas. So
Yeah.
once you get past that challenge, then you're good to go. And I had to
Hmm.
overcome those. And I finally just decided, I don't need a blind person to co-sign my vision.
How
And I'm
about
just going to
that?
move forward.
That part, that part. Yeah, I agree 100%. Now, like I said, I did spend some time, some extended time in Chapala. But tell us about how your day to day in Mexico kind of differs from your day to day in the United States.
So I have freedom to do what I want to build my economic empire. I'm not
Mm.
on that hamster wheel that we've heard so many of our
Yes.
sisters talk about. And I
Mm.
just stopped pushing the pause button and decided on life and decided to push the play button and do things that I genuinely wanted to do. So I don't have a to-do list dictating the order of
Yes.
business for some job or some corporation. I have a diva list instead of a bucket list because
I
I'm not
love
focusing
that.
on
Tell us
things before
more.
I die. I'm
Say
focusing
more.
on life. I'm
Come on
focusing
with
on
the diva
life.
list, girl.
Girl,
Okay.
yes. So, what is life for me? Loving myself,
Yes.
intentional living, being full of faith, just, full assurance and possible things happen. And then I'm eagerly expecting the best for me.
Mhm.
Always.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. I
That's
agree.
wonderful.
Always and in all ways am I expecting the best for myself.
Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
though being in the US, that can sometimes be challenging. I mean, every time I come home to take care of business within the first week, there's nothing for me to drop $1,000, and I don't even know where it's gone.
Yep.
When
Mhm.
I can live off of $1,000 in Mexico
And
for a
live
whole
well.
month.
Live well.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So aside from the diva list, what advice would you give other women considering to move to Chapala or considering a similar co-living experience?
Okay. Before you leave, LEAVE, I think
Mm-hmm.
you need to learn about the living arrangements that you may be considering. So you need to do some research. You need to compare your options. The other thing is that I would have people to evaluate their financial situation. Don't just jump into it without checking the numbers. Estimate what it's going to cost you financially. The other thing is that I would be asking questions at what, especially once you get there, or if you like with me to be interviewed by the ladies before during that vetting
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
process. Ask questions about house rules. What are your expectations of me coming into your environment? Am I going to be the one doing the dusting all the time? Because I
Yep.
got great cooking skills and my mama was from the South. Are you going to expect me to do the cooking? I mean, what are the
That's
rules?
right.
What are the
Manage
shared
the
rules?
expectations up
Yes,
front.
what
Yes.
are the expectations? And then
Yes.
there is nothing like boots on the ground. So I think you need to visit the community space before you just up and go. And then
Yeah.
the last thing is to establish some type of supportive network, like we're doing now on Facebook, on YouTube, on
Mhm.
Instagram. Our community is so important when you're
Mm-hmm.
doing something like this.
Exactly. I agree 1000%. Speaking about community, what type of community would you say you've built there in comparison to some of your past experiences, maybe with community living?
Well, I know this is my first experience of co-living with the
Mm-hmm.
exception of I'm the oldest of 9 kids. And
Okay.
so my home in Portage, we call it Shepherd's Landing. And I've always told my family, I said, whenever, somebody gets down and out and they need some help, I'm willing to offer 18 months of co-living with me. So until you can get your feet on the ground.
That's
So
beautiful.
yeah, and I really never really thought about it till recently. A young lady at my mom's church, she called me. She heard that I was in the U.S. and she called and she said, it's me." And she said, "I just want to thank you for when I
Mm,
was in college that you opened your home to me, because if it had not been for you, I wouldn't be where I am today." So
wow.
I've had those type of co-living situations, and I think that maybe those were the seeds that were
Yes.
planted back then, which have allowed me to do it on a grander scale. So I say that I'm living like the Golden Girls on steroids.
There you go. There you go.
Wow.
Reimagine it, right? For yourself.
Yes,
For you
yes.
Absolutely.
completely.
Absolutely.
Oh
Yeah, that's
my.
beautiful.
So what's been the most rewarding aspect of living with other women? You talked about how you've done it stateside and now you're international. What's it been like from a risk reward perspective uh at this phase in your life?
Well, as we get older, there are sometimes challenges that we have with sickness. And when the
Hmm.
first year that I was in Chapala, I ended up getting Montezuma's Revenge. I didn't even
Mhm.
know what it was, but I researched that sucker and I did a video on it.
Hmm.
And being in that co-living situation, those women came to my aid. One of them gave me their doctor's name and number. I called the doctor. The doctor then called me because I was sick for like 7 to 10 days. Doctor called me twice a day, told me what it was that I needed. And then our house husband, the gentleman that fixes things in the house, we call him our house husband. He went to the pharmacy and picked up my medication for me. One of the ladies from Argentina that lived in the co-living space, she cooked soup and brought it to me and made sure that I was hydrated and nourished. So from that perspective, you have a security net for
Yes.
when you can't take care of yourself. There's somebody there that can assist with that. So that
Mhm.
has been really, really, really dear to my heart, because living in a almost 2,500 square foot ranch home in a very nice neighborhood, but by myself, if I was to
Mhm.
fall down the steps, if I was to be sick, I might not have gotten help like that, especially
Mhm.
Yeah.
not that attentively and to the degree that they did it. It was a wonderful experience.
Yeah, yeah. And that's real important as we begin to age in this journey called life, right?
Mhm.
We need to have a reality check. I'm a
Yes,
solo
absolutely.
traveler, and there have been times when I've come down ill, and I'm like, I just can't. You don't have the energy, the strength, the
Right.
resources right at your fingertips, to
Exactly.
get what you need without then, having to further
Hmm.
the condition because you got to go out in the street and get medication, right?
Exactly.
So, yeah, I
Exactly.
could see that as being a huge benefit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
It's and
absolutely.
yeah, and we respect each other's space. I mean,
That was my
Sonia
next
and I,
question. How do you balance that personal space
yeah.
thing?
So
Yeah.
so Sonia and I are on the first floor. She's in suite 1, I'm in suite 2. We have our bed, we have a huge bathroom, we have a living space. And the owners of the building have now relinquished the building to us to manage. So now we're able,
Nice.
and yeah, so that's a whole nother story. But
Yes.
now, yeah, so
That's
now
beautiful.
we can rent out 2 other spaces to sisters. Matter of fact, we've renamed the house Casa de Caoba, which translates to mahogany house,
Yes.
because we want to serve and have a safe space for women who look like us.
I
That
love it.
so that's where we are now. But if I'm going to have a therapeutic massage by Louis, I tell the other ladies, I need third floor to be you know scheduled out for me
Locked
from this
out.
time to this
Yes.
time, so that
Yes.
so that my massage doesn't get disturbed. If Sonia wants to do a YouTube video session and she's going to use that area, she lets me know. So then I know not to go up there during that time. I stay in my
Mm-hmm.
suite. But you know, she and I are on the first floor. The other two suites that we're renting out is on the second floor, and then they share a galley kitchen. And then on the third floor, we have our community space. There is a art workshop area where Sonia can do her indigo dye things. We have a chef's kitchen. Look, if we don't want to cook,
Yeah,
we
hold
can
on.
hire somebody to come and cook for the
I know
whole
that's right.
house.
Yes. Sign me up.
Ain't nothing but a phone call.
Yeah, yeah. That's beautiful. So
Oh,
did I hear you say, because a lot of women, you know, with our initial interest form, the question is, are you comfortable sharing a bathroom? And
We no.
nine times out of 10, the answer is no.
Right. No, we each have our own individual bathroom. And one of the suites, which is uncommon in Mexico, has a bathtub.
Oh,
So
stop.
yeah,
that's rare.
No.
That's rare.
yeah, it's rare. It's rare. But yeah, we all have our individual bathrooms. And then
Hmm.
on the third floor, we do have a bathroom for the community area. So if we're doing something on the third floor, a person doesn't have to come down to the second floor or the first floor to ask to use our bathroom. They can use it on third floor because there's a
Yeah,
community bathroom there. And then we have
yeah.
the rooftop mirador where we're able to
Which is
see
Yeah.
the
beautiful.
mountains and the
Yes.
lake.
Yes.
Yeah. I heard you guys talk about that on your video. What was it last
Yeah,
Saturday?
yeah,
Yeah, that
yeah.
got my attention there.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So now one of the major benefits from co-living is having social companions, people to hang
Yes,
out with.
yes.
How do you spend your free time in Chapala? You have any
Girl,
favorite
I'm gonna tell you,
activities or hobbies? What y'all
I
doing over
do, I do,
there?
child. One of my favorite things to do is in the morning. I have a thing that I call sunrise stretch and stroll, and so I myself and my neighbor Ruby, we get up like about 6:30 in the morning and we walk. Now she has had me walk one time 8 miles. Now she has a
Oh,
little
that's
military
walking for
background. I
real.
didn't know we had done that, but I felt it the next 2 3 days. But generally it's just a couple of miles. We usually do a
Okay.
couple of miles. So I do my sunrise stretch and stroll. The other thing that I enjoy is that where I'm located, just 2 doors down, is a very popular restaurant called Chatterley's. It's actually a
Yeah.
historic
Mm.
place. It's where writers used to come and make their
Oh,
masterpieces.
Yeah.
So, and I love their food that they have there. So that's another thing that I do. The other thing is that because we're located central Mexico, it's easy to travel to other places. I can go to Guadalajara, which is about
Hmm.
20 minutes in a car, depending on who your driver is. Or if I
uh-oh.
decide to go by bus, it may be a little longer, so 35, 40 minutes.
Hmm.
But then Tonalá is you can hire somebody to take you there. Recently I was in San Nicolas. I mean San Miguel, San Miguel.
Oh, that's what I
So
wanted
Okay.
to ask.
Yeah.
yeah,
How
San
far is
Miguel.
that?
So Ruby and I went there to celebrate her birthday. So
Okay.
obviously travel is high on my list, and I'm able to do it affordably in Mexico opposed to in the U.S.
Yes.
There's just no comparison there. And then because I have a bed and breakfast with Sonia, there are other times that I just go to San Nicolas de Rabada and I spend time out in the bed and breakfast. We have we call it a community coffee chat the fourth Monday of every month.
Mhm.
Now, both of us are traveling this month, so we don't want to miss out the connection with our community. So we're hosting it virtually on Zoom this
All
Beautiful.
this
right.
coming this
Yes.
coming Monday.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
those are the things that I enjoy. One other thing is the spa. There is a spa in San Cosala, and I go there and I can spend the whole day there, and it would probably cost me over $150 in the US, but there it's only about $17 if you do the
Yep.
conversion is about $17.50 for the whole day.
Yep.
$17.50 USD.
I mean,
What?
it's amazing. It's amazing. Listen, first of all, you're making me really miss Chapala because I know all these places firsthand that you're talking about. And it's like, okay, I need to get back. I really need to get back. And I know social life is big there.
Yes,
There's karaoke on a regular
yes,
basis. People are out and about, but I want to talk about one thing, and that's dating. Because you got a little boo now, huh?
I do, girl.
Us.
Say
Look,
more.
mm, mm.
She said,
So, this trip has really been a productive trip. So I was invited to go to a revival a little while back, and my sister, the minister, had called us up. If you had recently suffered a loss, and my sister just lost her daughter in July, and so I
oh,
said, Carrie, come on, let's go up here and let's get
yeah.
prayer. And so we're up there getting prayer, and he hit a nerve, and she broke down. Well, she broke down. Her friend broke down, and I broke down. And all of a sudden, this person is handing tissue, just kept handing tissue. I didn't know who it was, but my
Hmm.
sister knew who it was. And so afterwards, I was told that this gentleman wanted my digits. I said, who? Girl, the deacon, one of the deacons
Oh no,
wanted
not
my
Deacon.
digits. Honey,
Man of
I
God.
said, give it to him. So we have been dating now over a month.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, and so he said that he says, I'm going to get my paperwork because I need to get my passport because I'm coming to Mexico. So for me, going to church, girl, got me a
Hey,
man.
Ain't
hey,
that something?
hey,
They say you
hey.
can't find a man in church, but you just did.
We love it.
I love it. I
He's
love
a
it. Well,
wonderful
the
he's a wonderful
smile on your
man.
face tells it all.
Yeah,
It's like beaming, just beaming,
six
glowing.
he's retired. He's a man of means, and oftentimes in our age, you can't find that. He's a healthy individual and
Mm,
just gentle,
that
just a
part.
very gentle man,
Yeah. Yeah.
and willing to
Wow.
travel because I can't lower my standards
Can't
now.
sit still.
Absolutely. Won't stop. No,
No, you got
no,
a
nor
Diva
should
list to
you.
make it through. Got time for that?
Exactly, exactly.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, congratulations on that. You're going to have to keep
I
us posted,
know.
girl.
Oh, we will.
So
Right.
looking back, what are some of the most important lessons, or maybe the most important lesson that you've learned, a life lesson that you want to share with us since being in Chapala?
Well, I mentioned this earlier that you can't let a blind person co-sign on your vision. And
Hmm.
so be mindful of the big 5 F's: family, friends, fallacies, finances, and fears, which is
Yeah.
just fatal energy aborting rest. You have to know what it is that you want.
You want.
What do you want? What makes you happy? And how are you going to start moving towards that? Who do you need to reach out to help you with that? Because there's somebody that will be in your corner for you. And the other thing is that friendships do extend beyond borders. And I like the fact that we are borders reaching across borders, and we're becoming family, fristers, and it's a beautiful thing. If you
Yes.
had told me when I was 16 that I was going to be living in Mexico, I would probably ask you, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
What do
Yeah.
you mean? How am I going to get? I would, because
Yeah.
I mean, our families usually a vacation was a backyard barbecue. You know,
Or going to grandma's house in the car.
yeah. See what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So,
Yeah.
so yeah. So I think one of the most important things is that not everybody is going to see your vision the way you do, and you just have to know what it is that you want and
That's
be
right.
willing to go for it. Have
Yeah.
the faith to take that leap.
That's my favorite hashtag is faith over fear all the
Oh, there you
time.
go. There
You
you
got to
go.
Yes.
keep moving in the direction of your dream because it was
Yes.
divinely given to you. So how can you expect anybody else to really understand it? It's yours.
Exactly. It's
you
yours.
know?
Yes.
And
It's
so
yours.
go for it unapologetically. That's what I've started to own in
Yes.
this part of my journey is I'm unapologetic about it. You ain't got to get it.
Yeah.
It ain't yours.
That's
Mhm,
right.
mhm,
Yes,
mhm.
yes.
So what was the time frame from decision to being on the ground living your best life, making it through your diva list?
I'm going to say for me, it was probably 3 months.
Wow,
It was,
okay.
yeah,
Okay.
I started in well, probably it was less than that because I started doing my research like in July, September, July, like July through September, I was doing my research, and I landed in Guadalajara November 20th, 2021.
Mhm,
Mm-hmm.
mhm.
Yeah,
Wow, wonderful.
yeah,
And
So
I think, you have to be willing to step out on faith, right?
yes, yeah,
And be in a position to say yes, because just
yes,
because you think you've
absolutely.
got it all worked out,
Right, right.
you have to be receptive to a pivot or two, when it
Exactly.
comes your way, as long as it's still taking you in the direction that you feel you need to be going. Be
Right, right.
flexible and be
And that's
receptive.
it. You have to be flexible,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah.
Yeah,
lovely.
understanding the traditions once you get there. I mean, it didn't take me very long to learn not to flush the toilet paper, you know.
Exactly.
So and just be open to new stuff. Just be open to it.
Mhm.
Leave old mindsets where they belong, because
Yes,
when you're traveling to a new part of your journey, you don't even need those mindsets anymore. Open up.
exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yes.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. I read a post in another group and someone was asking for the number that they could call because the barking dogs were keeping them up at night.
Oh my.
Oh my
I
gosh.
I
Well,
thought,
welcome to Mexico.
yeah, like, did you do a cultural, I don't know, immersion? Did you understand the culture?
Exactly.
I mean, really, really.
Yeah. And
There's so
Oh
much life to
yeah.
live.
Latin American countries are very vibrant, and they
They are.
celebrate
Everything.
life in a way that
Everything.
Americans are not used to. So if you are
Exactly.
not used to a family celebrating in the middle of the week simply because they
Mhm.
got good vibes going on, then maybe you ought to think about you maybe want to reconsider where you're moving to.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. But
Okay, so
immerse yourself in the celebration.
That's
yes,
right.
show
Embrace
up
it.
uninvited. I would
That's
say.
Yes.
right. Right. I mean,
Oh,
once you've been to someone's home in Mexico, you are
Your
family.
family. Your family.
yes,
That's it.
yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
100%. So what else you
Hmm.
want to tell us about co-living? Any other tips? Any other certainly share your information where you can find people can find you and we'll put it in the
Oh,
description.
sure,
Yes.
sure.
Yeah.
Um, I think that the connectedness, just the consistent connectedness has really improved my emotional well-being and has helped alleviate any feeling of loneliness that you can sometimes experience in the US, even though you're around family or you going to work and you're around, your employees or your colleagues or whatnot. So the connectedness in a community living space for me has really helped with my emotional well-being. And that's
Hmm.
just a personal note on my end. I really I'm actually a I need my own space and my own quiet time just as much as I need connectedness
Yes.
to other
Yes.
individuals.
Mhm,
You know, you,
Yes.
mhm.
you can take those surveys and they told me that I was like split down the middle. And so
Yes.
when I need to be by myself, I can go into my suite and I'm good. When I want to come out and be with other individuals, I can do that. And that's one of the things that I love about the community living that I'm in. If
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
want to get in touch with me, they can contact me on my YouTube channel, which is Savvy Souljar, and Soldier is Souljar, and that's because I'm this soul within a vessel that is here to serve. I love helping
Love
other
it.
individuals reach their goals, and that's what I do.
Yeah, I love it. And living by example, right? I feel like you can talk the talk, but until you can walk the walk,
There you
You
go.
know, you have to do it authentically so that it resonates, so that people can see this is a possibility. And so I thank
Yes.
you for being so transparent with
Oh,
this
thank you.
part of your journey, you know, because I'm a big advocate, of course I am, of co-living. And so now I'm getting ready to walk the walk. That's what
There
Dr.
you,
T and I getting ready to do. So we joining
Absolutely.
you.
there you go. It's
Exactly.
possible.
Exactly.
It's possible.
Exactly.
Yes.
And just
Yes.
know, both of you ladies always have a space in
Oh,
our world in Chapala.
Thank
bless
you.
you.
In
Thank
fact,
you
I was
so
just sitting,
much.
my little wheels were turning like, oh, this is another partnership opportunity. We need to have a conversation. The
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
three of us, yes, we certainly do.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
The four of
Yes.
us,
Yes.
Sonia,
That
yes.
it's that global community. It keeps growing. You know, when
It
you are
does.
intentional about what you're doing, then you don't have to look for the opportunities. The
Mm-mm.
opportunities will find you.
They will find you. They will
Yes.
find you.
Yes. Well, I'm glad we found you.
Oh,
Yes,
I'm glad we found each other.
absolutely lovely. But I thank you for your time. We look forward to talking again. And Diamond, glad we could pin you down because
Oh yeah,
you're out
most
here
definitely.
gallivanting. And we love it.
Listen, I'm intentional about being still too. So
Yeah.
All right. We love it.
anytime, just let me know. It's been a pleasure, ladies. Thank you so much.
Thank you.